Lord, keep this woman safe. Oh man, I would put money on this. You put this woman, you throw her in a room full of woke liberal cannibals, and I guarantee you, my money, she will come out of that. She may be bloody and missing a few things, but this woman will be walking out that door. Oh man.
So I just found out that liberal Europeans are actually dumber than North American Europeans, and I've had the pleasure of them gracing my algorithm for about a week now. And all I have to say is this: your guys' insults are so lame because you guys don't have freedom of speech that I'm about to literally verbally rip you guys a new one so you can cry out of it. Anyway, when you start off your insults with "you're American," first of all, that's not an insult. I'm not American. I wish I was. I'm Canadian working in the American oil field, and Americans have been nothing but nice and welcoming. So I'm about to have their backs by ripping you guys a new one verbally, okay? Also, I was born in Europe and worked in the European oil patch, so I know exactly how big of a pussies you guys actually are. So, while you guys are only allowed to call me ugly and say things like caca pee pee poo poo shire, I can say that most liberal European men are a bunch of man bun wearing, Mohammed cock sucking, and loving it. They love that Mohammed jizz. Bunch of loving commie pieces of shit. Right? While van der Leyen is telling you to give up ownership of your vehicle and shut down energy, I actually drive a 10-inch lifted diesel truck in the oil field that's bigger than your dick. Isn't that cute? While most Americans can take their personal tanks to a parking lot, do donuts in it, you can't even drive 1 kilometer over the speed limit in certain cities without getting ticketed, right? Also, what about the pickpocketers in Europe? What are you allowed to do against them? Oh, right, you're not allowed to do anything except for thank them and take it up the ass. Meanwhile, it took a woman, an American mother of 5, to go to Italy, get pickpocketed, find that pickpocketer, and slap her until next Wednesday. Because if that pickpocketer was in Europe, she'd be meeting Jesus. Yeah, and it got so viral to the point where other Americans are like, we're not going to put up with this shit. Fuck these European pussies, right? And the government had to give a little notice out, like, dear tourists. So in Europe, we like to protect criminals because the criminals like to fuck the native European population in the ass, and the Europeans love that, right? To the German guy who came into my comment section and was like, you're American. How does Mohammed's dick taste in your mouth? Because I know you have to suck it dry and thank him afterwards while paying for his 20 wives and retarded children to live in your country for free. While your energy and all of your resources are getting siphoned out of Europe. So the next time you guys come into my comment section and think you can insult me, I worked with Norwegians in the oil field, and it was like a week-long freaking safety meeting of a bunch of pussies being like, I got a paper cut, that's not safe. Meanwhile, we cowboy the fuck up here and get something done in 3 to 4 days, which takes you guys 3 to 4 weeks. Yeah. So how about you guys travel a little bit more outside of Europe in order to realize just what a bunch of domesticated, absolutely propagandized pussies you have become.
Oh man, I can probably not put that on YouTube, but I'm gonna. Oh shit.
You know, when the BBC News are making their main headline stories disgrace pictures of the former Andrew, that clearly that's not the real news, that they're throwing him under the bus. They're using that to distract from the bigger picture, which is this is not about individual creepy men. This is about depraved systems that run this world. And the media keep doing this. They zone in on the individual. It's about Epstein, creepy, pervy old guy. It's not just about creepy, pervy men. This is about systems that run this world. Epstein likely made his money from human trafficking and weapons trafficking. You can't do that on your own. He moved huge amounts of money between continents. You cannot do that without being backed by systems. Yeah, banks, the government, the CIA, the FBI, Mossad, Israel. So the darkest part of humanity that involves trafficking children is also connected to the system that make up the infrastructure that make up our everyday lives. Do you hear where I'm going with this? By connecting and participating in this system, you're participating in the darkest parts of humanity. Like, this system is fucked. We need a revolution. And if you don't want to participate in darkness, you have to reject this system.
The people of Ireland are about to erupt. The government just faced a vote of no confidence and it failed.
We'll turn the army on our own citizens, which is reminiscent of something that you would hear in South America. It is reminiscent of a Pyrrhonist. He's gaslighting the country, saying he's concerned. He's concerned about the 900,000 people on waiting lists all of a sudden. He's concerned about the 60,000 people on housing lists. He's concerned about the 116,000 people that are waiting for HAP. That's what this government is concerned about. You're concerned about nothing, only serving yourselves. And I applaud Deputy Healy-Rae, and I say well done to him for having a bit of backbone. And if those that turned up at the protests down in Whitegate or anywhere else in the country, in Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, that turned up there and said, we're with you lads, and we're going to get rid of Micheál in a couple of weeks. If any of you have any bit of backbone, join with Healy-Rae and vote against this government, and let's call the election.
And despite mass protests from farmers, from truckers, from everyday Irish citizens fighting rising fuel costs and climate policies crushing their livelihoods, what does the government do? They ignore them completely and turn their military against them. And if those in power won't hear the people will get louder.
They're lying to you. They have taken your money and squandered it on corruption, and Ukrainians, on building houses with foreigners, and the production about the whole of the game. And if you nail this spot tonight, or you let girls in, and you let them things out, it's fucking over forevermore, I mean. So you think of that. No shirking at all. Every man will face what comes in, and he won't back. And the women and children out of the ways. Tonight we have it. And that's all there's to it.
God bless Ireland.
Cannibalism might seem kind of gruesome, and kind of is. I'm going to give you a little background of what got me to this position to run this bill. Back in 2019, I heard that Washington State was starting to do human composting, and that disturbed me. I wanted to address this because what I didn't want to see is bags of compost with human bone fragments. I want to stop it getting into the human food supply. I was on a plane this summer, watched a video of some food show, and the three contestants tasted the food and they had to guess what was in it. It was some kind of a sausage, and one of the options they told these people that was in the food was human flesh.
Can you tell us the 3 secret ingredients that might be found in this amazing sausage that you made for us today?
The 3 secret ingredients that might be found in this sausage are fish liver, human flesh, or shark.
Are those really the 3 ingredients?
Yeah, fish liver, human flesh, or shark.
Is this...
Is that a problem?
Is it?
And as I said, there's a stigma surrounding this.
We're good. We will clear it. We're good. Come on, Brian, please.
All right. Yo. Thank you, Keith. Thank you very much. All right, Joe. Fish liver, shark,
or human flesh.
God help you, it better be shark.
All right, 2, what do you think it's going to be?
Shark too.
Shark?
The liver is like too obvious, and I don't think it's human flesh, so I think it's shark.
Chef Keith, can you tell us what is the secret ingredient in this dish?
Yes, I'm afraid you're both wrong. It is human flesh.
No.
Whoa.
That's not okay. That's not all right.
You know,
The way our society's going and the direction we're going, this is going to be normalized. There's only one state in the union that it is illegal, cannibalism is illegal, and that is Idaho.
Who and what is the Committee of 300? Well, I've dealt with that. I've told you this is a supranational body that knows no boundaries, respects the laws of no countries. The first time that they were publicly announced was by a German socialist by the name of Walter Rathenau. I'll give you some background of Walter Rathenau. He was the financial advisor to the Kaiser of Germany, and he was also the financial advisor to the Rothschilds, the French family Rothschild. So he must have known what he's talking about. He made an astonishing statement in 1934. He said, there is a committee of 300 men that rule the world. They are known only to each other, and nothing happens without their consent. The goals then, very simply stated, are to make the world over into a one world, new world order dictatorship controlled utterly and completely by this Committee of 300. They do it by dint and by virtue of their fantastic wealth and the fact that they control thousands of the top banking institutions, the political organizations, insurance companies, but their strongest arm is called the Club of Rome. Now, when I first heard of the Club of Rome in 1969, I immediately began my investigation. And as Ken told you, all of my investigations have been done on location. Every one of them. The Club of Rome is one of the most insidious, baneful organizations in existence today, which has done intolerable, immeasurable harm to the United States of America. This Committee of 300 told a man called Aurelio Pecci to form this Club of Rome with the main object of bringing down the industries and the agricultural development of the United States. He immediately wrote a paper in which he said there are too many people on the earth and that the United States, with its industrial development, its agricultural development, is responsible for this curse of overpopulation. And he picked up the documentation for his work from Lord Bertrand Russell, a senior statesman of the Committee of 300. And Lord Bertrand Russell had written a work called The Impact of Science on Society. And if you can ever secure a copy of that book, which I doubt you'll be able to get, you will see in there that he said the world is grossly overpopulated and we have to get rid of at least half of the world's population, and it doesn't matter how we do it. So the Club of Rome was instituted and organized to start an attack on the world's population using the United States as the whipping boy. And they came up with a paper called the Zero Growth Post-Industrial Plan for Industry and Agriculture for the United States of America. 3 days after that plan was accepted as official United States policy by James Earl Carter, I was able to, through my intelligence people, get a copy of this insidious document. Basically what it said was that the middle class in the United States of America had to be destroyed because in the coming push to a world order, the middle class would be the stumbling block, because history had shown that the peasant class in ancient days, when they had revolted, were just easily crushed. There was no resistance, but now had grown a new super class of people in the United States called the middle class, who had long-term employment, who had job security, who were well paid, who could afford to buy the products that were made by the United States and didn't need to buy products from China or anywhere else. And the Club of Rome post-industrial zero growth paper said this has got to stop. We have to bring down the middle class of the United States. And the way that we will do this, the way that we will accomplish this task is by crushing their industries. The point I'm trying to make, ladies and gentlemen, is that the federal government, the secret upper-level parallel government that runs the United States, does not want you to know that you have an upper-level parallel government that calls the shots, that dictates what is going to happen to your life and mine.
When you truly understand what Hollywood is and what the industry really is, it all starts to make sense.
One of the most important symbols in the old Celtic Druidic system was a magic wand, like Merlin the magician with his magic wand. That's Celtic Druidic. Magic wands were always made out of holly wood. Okay? And they're still working their magic on us in Hollywood. The system that we are under is the most manipulating, exploiting system that's ever been put together. But I'll tell you one thing. The Steven Spielbergs and the George Lucases and the Michael Eisners and all the guys that run the entertainment world, all of them are many things, but stupid is not one of them. These guys are Class A, top of the line intellectuals. They know the name of the tune.
The symbolism does not end there, and I want to show you some more. It's in every part of society.
In Rome, the Pope has something called a Swiss Guard. The Swiss Guard represents the Knights Templars guarding the boss of Rome, the Holy Father, Knights Templars, international banking. If you fly over the Vatican and look down on the Vatican, you will see, for the first time, it's very obvious, the British flag. It's called the Union Jack flag. We've been double-crossed. Double-cross goes back to British banking fraternities, the Knights Templars, double-crossing the whole world. Switzerland, very interesting place. Switzerland has the Knights Templar Cross. That's why today you have organizations called the American Red Cross, Wake Up Red Cross. It's a cross of St. George. It's a Masonic Knights Templar organization that operates behind enemy lines. And you say, oh, well, the Red Cross can go behind enemy lines. Of course the Red Cross can go behind enemy lines.
Jordan Maxwell also looks into these brotherhoods and these groups that show these symbolisms throughout all of society. And if you know what you're looking for, you can find them.
Even the Liberty Bell, the symbol of liberty, an equal Liberty Bell, identical with the same crack, is found in Moscow. It's a very famous Liberty Bell of Moscow with the same crack. It becomes known as a symbol, the symbol of the Brotherhood of the Bell. Bel being B-E-L, the ancient god in the Mesopotamian Valley, being the one that we call Beelzebub or Belteshazzar or Yahweh. There are too many symbols, too many things going on in our world that we're just not aware of in this busy time in which we live, that it's time that we took time to look around us, see the emblems of power, see the emblems and seals of our government. Look at the dollar bill instead of trying to earn one. Just look at one for a change. Look on the front at the Masonic emblems on it. Look at the back, the Masonic emblems there. The Rothschild banking dynasty behind the governments of Europe hired Adam Weishaupt to formulate a plan for the world at that time to accomplish certain goals. That plan came to be known as the Illuminati.